Welcome. Did you experience trauma as a kid? And has this hindered your relationships in some way? Are you ready to learn a little bit more about healing your inner child? If you are, then you're in the right place. Thank you, Kathy, for being here. And thank you to those who are either listening or watching. My name is Mandi Gardner, and I'm the founder of Holistic Evolution Shala. I'm here with Kathy Sanderson, and she is with the Inner Child Healing, and she has a Facebook group and she hosts retreats. Moving on to how childhood trauma really affects us in relationships. Many people with unresolved trauma struggle in relationships. And would you be willing to share some of the insights into how healing the inner child can really transform our relationships and lead to deeper, more fulfilling connections?
That one experience I was saying to you about being stuck as that 6-year-old wounded child. Well, you think about what a 6-year-old would be like in a relationship. Everything would have to be immediate. Nothing would be allowed to go wrong. Everything would have to be about them. And you see these relationships playing out. You watch your friends have them. You see your male friends have girlfriends who are that demanding. You see them on the soaps. And that literally is that wounded inner child. And that's what becomes the narcissist and all of those behaviors, because they have learned a way that got their unmet needs as a child met, like that negative spirit guide type thing we spoke about. They worked out a way to behave that enabled them to get their needs met. And as we move then into they become parents, their children only see that one side, but the people around them know what that person's been through. So they enable that behavior because they're like, oh my God, yeah, but oh, her dad was awful. Her dad used to beat her when he come home. So you can understand why she's behaving like that. But to other people who are in that relationship who've got no idea, they can't excuse that behavior. The wounded inner child just basically drives that relationship. And it's whether you end up with a partner who has been taught by their parents that they are the fixer, the people pleaser, the enabler. And you will always find in those relationships that you have the narcissist, the wounded inner child who reflects outwardly, to being with a wounded inner child who reflects inwardly. That's that codependency thing, because they both get their needs met, although it doesn't feel good for the enabler, but they are still reliving that Bible belief that we spoke about before, that everything that we experience before the age of 7 becomes what life is. So if they always had to people please and make sure that their parents were happy, they're going to pick up a partner that reflects those needs, because that's the only way they know to exist and to get appreciation.
So when it comes to the power of retreats in trauma healing, your healing retreats are an immersive experience for the people who come. You're in the nature and you're surrounded by these, very heart-open people. What makes a retreat setting so powerful, and what have been some of the most transformational moments that you've witnessed during these retreats?
We all discovered during lockdown, everyone can go on Zoom and have a therapy session, but they can't control who comes to the door. They can't control the dogs kicking off. They can't control, as soon as they get off that session, what's going to happen. The phone's going to ring. People are going to be there. One of the beauties of a retreat is it's a 48 hours of just you time. So from the moment you get there, everything is set up around you. It's there for you. So you don't have to worry about the dogs barking. You don't have to worry about meeting anybody else's needs for 48 hours but yourselves. And the beauty of retreats, of course, is that the meals are made for you. Everything's done for you. So You can go to a really powerful, deep inner child healing session, and then you can go off and you can have time to reflect, you can have time for journal, you can have time to process. You don't have to worry about cooking dinner. You have to worry about going shopping. You have to worry about meeting other people's needs. You can just sit and be still. The beauty of our retreats is, of course, you can go and sit under a tree, on a rock, in the mountain itself, surrounded by flowers, watching nature, watching the hawks, all of that type of stuff, circling. You can stay out till dusk and watch the bats, all of that. There's so many different ways of healing, but when you go on a retreat, it's just intense and it's immersive, like you said, but it's that time just for you.
I also agree that being in nature is just so healing and therapeutic. We wear shoes all the time. We don't walk barefoot anymore. We're in these concrete jungles, and we very rarely get out into nature. And I think that is such a beautiful way to reconnect.
We have some really deep inner child work with me, and reprogramming of thoughts and beliefs and things like that. But then we also have time for play. So my friend Leanne, she does some forest sessions. You get to really bring out your inner child, and we made fairies and a fairy village and a dog log and things like that, because we need that time for play to process with our inner child, rather than going 48 hours or 24 hours or whatever. We need time to process, and there's no better or quicker way to process anything but by being in a joyful energy. Community gatherings, so we do everything. You can come along as a family, you can come along as a couple, single person, no problem. But we have trampolines, and all camp, they're taken by the children. Can't get near them. But the adult retreats that we run, the adult gatherings, those trampolines actually get used by the adults. So they couldn't go on them with the children around, but when they're doing it's just adults, they actually manage to get on it, and they have so much fun.
Good for them. Good.
Wow.
Yeah, let go of that. That's awesome.
And it helps you to regulate. You've noticed that it helps the children regulate. So we tried not having a trampoline because they do wreck them, but we tried not having a trampoline, and the energy was just so fizzy with the kids. But when they're bouncing and releasing all of that energy, so I noticed that especially once after we've had some deep work in our workshops within the adults retreats, that they actually go and bounce. So they are still connecting with their inner child, and they are releasing that energy in that bouncy, expansive energy, child, fun way, which is great to see.
Because I'm sure parts of it can feel really heavy and really hard. And so to be able to have that expressive opportunity, I think is lovely. We all need to play a little more.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing everything. You're such a sweetheart. I can imagine that your retreats in Wales are just fantastic and fun and such a wonderful place to be, to help tap into that inner child. So I wonder, would you tell the people who are watching and listening to our conversation today, let them know where they can find more information about you and your retreats?
Yes, you can find me on communitygatherings.uk. That's our website. I'm really big on me. So you can find me on Facebook, Kathy L. Sanderson. And you can also look for the Community Camping and Healing Gatherings Facebook group and see what we do on there too.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kathy. And thank you to all of those who took the time to watch and listen.
Giving me this opportunity to talk to you. It's been very enjoyable.
Oh, good. It's my pleasure.